Hi, I'm Steve Warnick, Director of Content Marketing for PMI's New Jersey chapter. And today I'm going to explain the basics of how to fill out the application for the Project Management Professional exam. Okay, first thing you should know is that as of July 2018, when this video has been made, we are currently working on the 6th edition of the PMBOK guide. To give you a reference, I got my PMP in May 2017, and that was based on the 5th edition. But the application process has remained the same. Now, you do not have to be a PMI member to take the test, but as a member, the discount applied to the test and certification more than pays for the membership fee. Not only that, you'll get several other benefits from joining PMI. You'll have the digital version of the PMBOK guide. Again, you'll save money on any certifications that you take. You'll also be able to get free webinars, events, and PM templates available to you. If you become a member of PMI, you'll also be given the opportunity to select one or more local chapters to become a member of them. Local chapters like PMI New Jersey return a huge value for their members, so I strongly suggest that you join locally and embrace the networking and knowledge opportunities that the local chapters provide. So the first order of business is to go to pmi.org and click on certifications. Once you've done that, you'll be given a choice list. We're going to apply for the PMP credential. It says here, though, we're going to be continuing to work on our PMP application because I've already pre-populated all that information. The next thing you're going to do is enter in your contact information, your name, address, where you can be reached, and then what it will do is it will ask you for an email as well as a phone number where you could be reached. The next step is entering in your level of academic education, whether you're a high school graduate, college graduate, whatever. So you'll be entering in that information here on this screen. Now, as you'll also see on the screen, you're also given the choice of answering if you graduated from a PMI GAC accredited university program. The PMI Global Accredited Curriculum is available through approved universities in a project management formal course of study. Those courses of study allow you 1,500 program management hours toward the PMP or the PGMP certification. The key thing on the next page is the PMP requirements overview, which outlines the required experience for a 4-year or a secondary degree, as well as the project management education requirements. Applicants with a 4-year degree require 4,500 PM project management hours, whereas applicants with a secondary degree, an associate's or high school, will be required to show 7,500 hours of project management experience. In either case, either applicant will have to have at least a minimum of 35 hours of project management education. If you can't satisfy that requirement anytime soon and you still need to have some kind of certification, you may want to reconsider the PMP and take the CAP-M instead. After we move off the requirements review, we're now sent to the eligibility worksheet where we will enter in our experience and education. So here we have the educational overview. This is what I normally enter in first because it's just easier to do. One of the requirements is 35 contact hours of PMI approved classroom training, either online, at a vendor, or at a participating university. Now, unlike PM experience hours, PM educational hours, contact hours, do not expire. But as years progress, training will become out of sync with newer versions of the PMBOK guide. So you want to make sure your training is up to date. Now, once we're done entering in our education, the next step is to go through the task of actually entering in our project management experience. As you see here, I've already pre-populated this for the interest of time. Now, to give you a bit of background, these entries were based on my PMP application, but the names, contact information, companies, all the high-level background data was all changed to non-existent companies and people for the purposes of exposition. But the data and supporting information were derived from a successful PMP application. In my example here, I am a college graduate, so my PM experience hours total 4,500. That's what I need to meet. Now, because the experience portion of the application is so complex, I broke this part of it down into subtasks. And the first subtask is to enter in the project you worked on and the role that you had on the project. So here you'll enter in the project title, the start and ending dates of the project, the industry the project was in, its primary industry, as well as the role you had in leading the project. And here I have to qualify myself very carefully. If you put in anything other than project leader or project manager as your role on the project, there is a very good chance that those experience hours will not count. For the purposes of this application, PMI is only interested in projects where you were a leader in some way, shape, or fashion. So in other words, a project leader or a project manager. Any of these other choices imply that you did not have a leadership position on the project. So bear that in mind as you evaluate your role. The next step is entering in the organization information for which you did the project for, the company or organization name, what your official job title was, and all that. Note that your official title could be different than project manager. The next step is your project verification contact. This is the name of a person that can vouch for your activity on the project. That person can be a manager, director, sponsor, whomever, a client, anybody who knew that you worked on the project, one of the primary stakeholders. One of the questions that's often asked is, well, what if nobody is available in a supervisory capacity to vouch for my time on the project? Usually, if you have any stakeholders left around that can just say, yes, that person worked on that project, usually that's good. That might be good enough. I also suggest you keep any emails and notes and documents for the project that you worked on, for all those projects that you worked on, so that you can support your claims. This is one of the more heady areas of the application. This is where you edit your experience in each of the domain areas of the project that you were working on. So the number of hours initiating, the number of hours of your planning, your executing of the project, the amount of time you controlled and monitored your project actively or in the background, and the amount of time you spent closing out your project. Note that these domain areas are computed in hours. These are not percentages, so don't make that mistake. Another question that's often asked is, well, I was on several different projects and I worked a lot of hours overtime. What do I do with that? It does not matter for the purposes of this application. PMI assumes a 40-hour work week, so you'll have to adjust accordingly. Now we get to what is probably the most difficult part of the application process, which is where you summarize your project in very high-level terms. And what I mean by high-level terms is 300 to 550 characters, not words, characters, to define your project and its outcome. So it's basically beginning, middle, and end. What was your project objective? What were your deliverables, and how did you deliver them across each of the project domains? And what was your final outcome on the project? I cannot stress brevity enough here, and get creative with your language. Use symbols, use acronyms, and any abbreviations. They're all legal. They will become your best friends on this part of the application. Every character is going to count, so be sure to use IN, PL, EX, MC, and CL for each of your domains. So there you have it. Once you've done that, you just continue filling in additional projects until you reach your required number of hours. Remember, I did say that PM experience hours do expire, so be very careful and double check your project dates, because you might find that some of your projects, especially older ones, may be out of range. There is an 8-year look back for the project management experience hours. So after 8 years, those hours will not be counted on the project management professional application. So after you're done entering in all your experience hours, you then are brought to the optional information page, basically just where you were referred to for the PMP application. Was it from an employer, or was it for your own personal development? And it'll also ask you if you had taken a certified prep course presented by a PMI chapter, like PMI in New Jersey. If you did, say yes. If not, just select no if you took it at a vendor or a college. Next, the application will ask you for your name that you'd like to have on your certificate, and it will then verify it on the next page. The next step is to read and certify that you will conduct yourself as per the terms of the certification application agreement, the PMI Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct. The next step is to review all your information, make sure you have everything together. It's all checkmarked in green, and then you can certify that you've provided the information as accurate and complete, and you can then submit. This page also allows you to download a PDF copy of your application for your own records. The next step is just to wait. While PMI reviews your submitted application, it will take up to 5 business days to get some kind of response. Acceptance or rejection will be received via email. If you're rejected for whatever reason, they will tell you why, and that'll give you an opportunity to reevaluate your application. I've heard a lot of theories about what triggers a PMI audit of your application. The basic truth of it is that audits are randomly selected. Some people say you have to get your application exactly right the first time and don't go back in to review it or else you'll trigger an audit. My application was kicked back once for me to review, and I never triggered an audit. There are a lot of theories running around out there. Don't believe everything you hear. Another thing I've heard is that some folks are approached about test information or people willing to take a test for them. If you're approached by somebody like this, take their information down and contact PMI, let them know they take fraud very seriously. And the last big question I'm always asked is, where can I get more information about certification from people that have worked on it and have gone through the process? Best place you can get information is your local PMI chapter, like PMI New Jersey or any of our other sister chapters. If you'd like to see more content like this in the future, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, post your comments, and share. We at PMI New Jersey hope you found this video to be informative. And remember, wherever you are, we are there with you.